What's going on, people? My name is LV Live, and I want to welcome you to my first official rant show. I'll be coming to you on a weekly basis to give my rants on the topics that I love, and the topics being sports, basketball, football, baseball, and of course boxing. Sports has been a big part of my life ever since I was a young kid, and I played all through high school and college, and of course middle school, little league, all that good stuff, man. And it's always been a passion of mine. So it's just something that I'm looking forward to doing on a weekly basis, of course, with you guys. Also, keep a lookout for next coming weeks. I should have my podcast out with me and my boy Jeff to discuss the same thing, sports and sports related topics of the week. The pressing topics, big things that are going on in sports, whatever genre it may be, but really kind of focusing under the umbrella of with basketball, football, baseball, and boxing. But yeah, man. So I appreciate you guys coming in. Please also too leave comments at the bottom. If you guys have channels that you want me to come check out and support, I'll definitely do so. I would definitely love some feedback in regards to how you feel about the topic I'm discussing, all those type of things, and let's kind of get this stuff going as far as whatever you're passionate about in regards to whatever the topic is. Please, give some feedback, and it's truly appreciated. But yeah, let's get into the topic of the day, or shall I say the rant. It's going to be pretty much about the big fight coming up next weekend in the Staples Center. Mikey Garcia against Robert Easter Jr. Let me first say that I think Mikey's a great fighter. I think these guys are both great fighters. But I'm going to focus on Mikey right now because he's facing a very talented dude. And everything that I've seen so far has been not about the fighter that he's fighting, but about the guy that he wants to fight. And that's Errol Spence Jr. I'm really surprised that Mikey's team, his brother Robert Garcia, and their family, that they're letting Mikey basically in the public discuss Spence, and he's not even fighting Spence. If I was Robert and everybody, including his dad, his nephew, all those kids, I would be telling Mikey, listen, focus strictly on Robert. If anybody asks you about Errol Spence, you let them know, hey, listen, that's maybe possibly a fight down the line, but right now my focus is on Robert Easter Jr. I would not be talking about Spence. Spence would not be the focus of these coming months and weeks. Right now being a week, we're a week out from the fight. That's not what my focus would be. I wouldn't even answer. Anybody ask me questions about Spence, I'm moving on to the next guy. I'm not going to sit here and say, look, I told you, we're not talking about Spence, I'm talking about Robert Easter. I'm taking all questions for Robert Easter. I mean, I sound like I should be working PR for the guy. But I feel like that's not being told to him. And maybe he's not listening. Maybe it is being told, but he's just not listening. But I think it's not a good thing for him to focus on a totally different guy when he's got a legit opponent waiting for him next week. I think Robert Easter, with his skill set and his athletic height, length, can cause major, major problems for Mikey if he fights the right fight. And the right fight being, to me, is keeping his distance from Mikey, using his length and his athleticism. Because if people follow boxing and follow Mikey, the one thing he doesn't want is a long, athletic fighter like that. Because who's similar to that? Who he has stated on numerous occasions that he does not want to fight and does not think it's a good fight for him. That's Terrence Crawford. And why does Mikey say that? Because if people don't know the history of him and Terrence Crawford, he fought Terrence Crawford in the amateurs, I believe. And I think they fought twice. But I do know that Mikey lost to him both times. That's a very, very difficult guy for Mikey to fight. Well, he's difficult for most people. Okay, let me just be clear. Not just Mikey, but for a lot of people. Terrence Crawford is a hell of a talent. But that skill set Mikey has a problem with. I think Robert Easter could basically have that same type of skill set that Terrence Crawford. Not to say that he is Terrence Crawford, but he can give that type of fight to Mikey, which could cause Mikey problems. And I think that Cunningham, the trainer that Bunny, I'm super call him Bunny, Robert Easter, but they call him Bunny. That's his nickname. That Robert Easter is training with. I think he'll pretty much put those plans in. I believe, because I think, which will be bad for Robert Easter, of course, is for him to get into a brawl with Mikey, because that's what Mikey wants. But if he keeps his distance in and out, hits Mikey with that jab, and a couple of times come over the top with that right hand, it could be a long night for Mikey. And I think that for him to overlook this guy, and I'm not saying he is, he's probably not overlooking him. But what he's giving off to the media is that his focus is on December and his focus is on Spence. That's who he wants. And it's funny because, hey man, I give Mikey a lot of credit because there's not a lot of guys mentioning Spence. It's just like Spence is the boogeyman. If you guys look from 147 to 135, nobody's mentioning that guy's name. You might have had like Bo Mack and people from Terrence Crawford's team kind of throw out little comments here and there. Oh, excuse me. But you don't really hear anybody really, really talking about giving dates and times when they want to fight Spence. Because Spence has always said, hey, look, man, call Al. Call Al. And that southern drawl that he has, I can't do it. I'm from NYC, man, so I can't really do the southern drawl. But the way Spence says it, he tells him, call Al, and let's get it on. That's with everybody. And I don't think there's been too many people calling Al. Because, look, we're all fight fans. People who are listening, I'm sure you're a big boxing fan. Boxers see what we see. They're regular people like us. Yeah, they get hit, they get punched in the ribs and get out, eye jammies, as we used to call it back in the day. But they see what we see. And they see that he is a very, very difficult fighter. And if you don't come in there with your A game, I got one better. If you don't come in there with Spence with your A++ game, it's going to be a short night. And so for Mikey, at 135, to say that he's willing to come up 10 pounds to fight this monster at 147, that speaks a lot about Mikey. But I think Mikey's doing that because, if people don't know, Mikey had a little hiatus from boxing, for some time because he was going through those issues with Top Rank and Bob Arum. So now that he's getting his, the wheels turning, he's getting that, that rhythm back again. Now he wants to take on the bigger names, the bigger fights, which is smart because, he's getting to, if I'm correct, I think Mikey has fought over 30 times in his career, but you wouldn't know it because he had that little hiatus and he was you kind of forgot about him. He kind of went through the same thing that kind of Andre Ward went through when he was kind of out for a little bit. So it's the same thing. So I think now Mikey's trying to look for the biggest fights. I think a big fight for him down there at 135 is Lomachenko. But I think, me personally, my opinion, I think that's easy work for Mikey. I don't think Mikey will have a problem with Lomachenko. I think he'll walk him down and eventually stop Lomachenko. I mean, I have a hard time really with Lomachenko. I mean, he's a good fighter, man. I can do another rant on this guy another day, but if you don't got 20-something plus fights, to me, you shouldn't even be pound for pound ranked anywhere close to the top 10. You shouldn't even be close because you haven't proven, but, people like his style and, I get it. Really, I don't, but I understand, man. I understand the politics that come with sports and, of course, with boxing. But I think that'll be a great fight for Mikey. I think that will be a legacy builder. To fight Lomachenko if he gets by Robert Easter Jr. Now, with Robert Easter, this could be also a big fight for him to cement his legacy too if he knocks off Mikey, because now this can kind of catapult him to superstardom within the sports of boxing. It can catapult him by beating Mikey, and if he beats him convincingly, If this is a landslide, then this could really help Robert Easter's career. And believe it or not, that could set up a super fight with him and Lomachenko. I also think that Lomachenko would have a lot of problems with Robert Easter. Robert Easter is very athletic, long fighter. Lomachenko would have a lot of problems with Robert Easter. It's just, styles make fights, but, if a guy is bigger and taller and more athletic than you, that's difficult because Lomachenko's going to have to come in there, and that leaves him open for a lot of big, powerful shots. And when you're facing bigger guys, it can be tough for Lomachenko. But it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on here because as much as we're thinking about the fight, because of what Mikey has said and because of he's continued to say that he wants Spence, it's kind of hard for us to not think about him and Spence fighting in December down in Dallas. It's hard for us not to think that. And Spence is at the point where Spence is saying, hey, looks, man, bring it on. If you want this work, then come get it. And I don't think that'll be good for Mikey. I don't think it'll be good for Mikey to jump up 10 pounds to fight that bully up there who's basically coming in and is going to be fighting Mikey. The night of the fight will probably be hydrated at 160 pounds. That's going to be a hard fight for Mikey. And sometimes you have to be careful, man, because fights like that can be career enders. They can be. And, I wouldn't want to put Mikey in a situation like that. That's why, back to my original point, I'm really surprised that Robert and his family haven't spoken to Mikey and said, listen, man, you need to really put your foot on a brake, but just pump the brakes and relax. I know you want the big money fight. I know you want the big names. It's coming. Take it easy. But I'm not going to have you end your career or possibly end your career or really get hurt because you're going up there to fight a monster. We're not going to do that. So I think he's really got to really think twice about it because, to me, the biggest fight out there, I know a lot of people saying Crawford, Spence. To me, the biggest fight out there that could be made, I'm thinking of maybe a year or two from now, is Errol Spence Jr. versus Canelo. Catch weight at 150 pounds in Dallas. And to be clear, in Dallas, I mean Jerry World, Dallas Football Stadium on Cinco de Mayo. That can be a mega fight. I mean, of course, if both guys, take care of their business, meaning Spence unifies at 147 and Canelo, unifies at maybe 154, which might be difficult because you got a lot of tough guys at 154 who I think could beat Canelo. But as far as the cachet, like the name cachet, what's going on now, I see a Canelo Errol Spence Jr. as a great fight, a mega fight within the next year or two. I don't know if that Spence and Crawford fight's going to be made because I think the problem is Bob Arum. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to drag on. I don't think Bob Arum is willing to put his top fighter in the ring with an A++ guy. And I think that's dangerous for Crawford. Because, he's fighting a legit 147 guy. Who's a legit, if not, to me, pound for pound best fighter out there. So, yeah, Crawford's got the skills, but so does Spence. And I don't think Arum wants to take that chance. I think Oscar is more likely to take the chance with Canelo against Spence than Arum is with Crawford. But, hey, look, we'll see. But I'm glad you guys came through to support the channel. I'm really excited, man. This is my first time doing this, so it's fun, man. I really enjoyed it today. But I'll be coming back with some more rants going forward to touch on all the sports topics. Got a lot of things I want to touch on. But please, man, hit the like, subscribe, and share button. And, leave your comments so I can check them out. And please come through and support, man. And I appreciate you guys for coming through. All right? Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right? Peace.